And you're welcome back. Now, in a bold move that's set to reshape the traditional governance landscape of Kano State, Governor Abba Yusuf has signed into law the Kano State Emirate Council Establishment Bill 2024. Now, this landmark legislation introduces a new tier of traditional leadership, creating second-class Emirate councils in Rano, Gaya and Karaye. The move is being hailed as a strategic step to bridge the gap between grassroots communities and the state government, while simultaneously preserving the rich cultural heritage of the region, they say.
Now, the new law craves out specific jurisdiction for each of these newly established Emirate councils, with Rano overseeing Rano, Kabiya and Bokuri local government areas, Gaya taking charge of Gaya, Albasi and Ajingi, and Karaye is proceeding over Karaye and Rongo. Now, these reconstructing aims to create a more localized approach to traditional governance, with each council empowered to advise the Emir of Kano on crucial matters such as maintaining public order and resolving boundary disputes within their designated areas.
Now, however, this development doesn't come without its share of controversy. After all, this is Nigeria. It follows on the heels of Governor Yusuf's controversial decision in May to dethrone Emir Aminu Ado Bayero and reinstate Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II, a move that sparked legal challenges in the state. Now, as Kano navigates these changes to its traditional institutions, many are watching closely to see how this new governance structure will impact the delicate balance of power between modern state administration and centuries-old cultural leadership. The announcement of the second-class emir promised for a later date is eagerly anticipated and sure to be a topic of intense discussion in the coming weeks.
And so to start that conversation, we're going to be discussing the matter further, and we're honored to be joined by the National Publicity Secretary of the New Nigeria People's Party, Mr. Ladipo Johnson, and he joins us live in the studio. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, sir. Good to have you here.
Yeah.
Judith, please begin.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for joining us. And a new structure for a second-class emirate is very interesting to hear. When people hear that, be like, what does this mean? What is this? So I'd like for you to sort of define this new structure of the Kano Emirate as it is now. You know, it's not moving. What it would be from now on, the hierarchy and the devolution of responsibilities and powers within this new structure.
Well, when I heard as well, I asked the same question. I was in Abuja when I heard it. I called the DG publicity, media and publicity of the governor, and he was boarding a flight. And I said to him, I said, what have you done again, you know? And he was like, oh, what happened, you know? And we spoke about it and laughed about it. And then I asked one of the leaders from Kano, and he tried to explain to me. The good thing is that because of the issues that happened in the last few months regarding the Emirates, they decided to look at the whole thing thoroughly. And apparently, even before we had constitution and what have you, these three lesser emirates existed. And so what they now felt was, apart from the getting it to the grassroots and whatever you in your introduction, what they felt was that, okay, let's, because of all that has happened, they're all district heads as well. Now they have 44 district heads, as in local governments. And they decided that these three, traditionally, were slightly, I don't want to say more powerful, higher elevated than the district heads. And so they now brought this back. That is Rano, Karaye, and Gaya, as you said earlier. So that is what informed it, is within the context of their history, way even before the constitutions we're talking about, the 79 constitution.
As a member of the NNPP, Question that I'd like to ask, and I'm sure plenty of people are also asking this question regarding the fact that there is this argument that the introduction of the second-class emirates is actually a plot to dilute the power of the central emirate itself. What do you say to that?
It isn't. They still report to the Emir of Kano. It's as simple as that. That's why it's called second class. Now there's only one first class. Now this is different from when we had 5, presumably first-class emirates, and majority of the people didn't want that. The issue at that time wasn't just the fact that Emir Sanusi was removed by Ganduje's administration. It was also the breaking down of that one emirate that had been over 1,000 years into 5. A lot of them didn't want it, and it became a campaign issue.
But was it so important to do this, to try and reach the grassroots? Because that's the, I don't want to use the word excuse, but that's the explanation that's been given.
Yes.
Were there no other possible mechanisms to actually reach the grassroots? And why now, out of all times, especially from everything that's been happening since the start of the year between Bayero and Sanusi?
Exactly. Why not now, though?
You're asking back.
You see, that's why I said that I believe that they looked at all the trouble, the crisis, the past few months, that look, let us just sort this out once and for all. You know, we're doing this, and let us, these people also are not, look, even if we feel that they're wrong, if government feels that some people are wrong, you still have to listen to those small voices. Why did they do this? Why, you know, are they kicking back? And then you now say, okay, maybe let's go back to the historical position. And these 3 ones, especially, apparently, their way out, not within the metropolis and everything. Let's give them a bit more, not autonomy, but, you know, so I think that is, it's, I mean, as a politician and as a publicity secretary of the party, I was, oh God, why now? You understand?
Yeah.
But then looking at it, yeah, why not now?
Now, we understand there was a fire outbreak at the Emir's palace, and we would love that we have you in the studio. Can you speak more as to the outbreak, what happened, and just
what
everything that could have caused the fire?
I don't know, actually. I actually read somewhere that said maybe arsonists, I'm not sure. I do not know. Honestly speaking, I do not know. I didn't go into that. I just saw that, yes, there was a fire outbreak, but it didn't burn down the whole palace or whatever. So I didn't concentrate on it.
Were there any valuables inside? Say, for example...
I wouldn't know.
Well, let's away from the fire now. Let's talk about the economic perspective of this. A second-class emirate. Do you think that this restructuring of the traditional leadership might impact business and commerce in Kano State, particularly in this newly designed or designated restructuring?
I'm sure that they would hope so. They would hope that these new minor emirs will even bring in more to their own rural areas, as it were. Government is always looking to ensure that areas in its state develop, if not as much as the metropolis, but at a reasonable pace. So I think that there are advantages that they feel they would get from doing this at this time. As I said, why now?
We're back here again. Let's talk about this chieftaincy versus governance issue here. We've seen the influence of governments, the Kano State government, in the establishment of the Emirates itself, the second-class Emirates, or whether or not who not gets the throne. Let's talk about heritage.
Yes.
Is there not too much influence from the government in matters that should be strictly chieftaincy, especially in the case of Kano? We saw that almost happening in Sokoto as well. if I'm not mistaken.
it's not
Why
just-
is there so much influence, and many would use the word interference in these chieftaincy matters?
This is a germane question, and it is something that should be at the back of the minds of those we have in the House of Representatives and the Senate. A true republic, when I was doing my constitutional law, a true republic should not have any chieftaincy. It should be like the United States of America. Every man is equal. That is a true republic. But in Nigeria, we have a mixed, you understand. You remember that even before independence, or at the early stage, we had a House of Chiefs, just like you have the House of Lords in the UK. This was removed from the 79 Constitution, didn't appear in the 99 Constitution either. But people are now saying that shouldn't there be a proper role for the chieftaincy institution? And to what you said, shouldn't we find a way to ensure that the political interference is reduced? Because you see, the bottom line is this: you cannot become a Bale, let alone an emir or a chief or an Alafion for your or whatever, without the government getting involved. They give you the staff of office. You have all these chieftaincy declarations for all the chieftaincy houses, order of rotation, all these things you have goes through the Ministry of Chieftaincy Affairs or local governments or what have you. So strictly speaking, and that is why, let me just throw a punch here, that is why people keep saying, what has the Federal High Court got to do with this business? It's, you know, it's, in fact, it should even be the local government. It's just that people look at it that I cannot be telling the Emir of Kano or the Oni of Ife to go to his local government chairman. He should be able to come to the governor. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to look at the constitutional framework. When these things happen, it's important that as you settle it, we look forward vis-a-vis the development of the country. And they do have a role to play, I believe. They have a role to play. So I urge those in the Senate and the House of Representatives to look at the Constitution again as we move forward over this issue.
Well, there have been talks about constitutional reforms, and I'm sure that maybe that would also come up during the course of this entire process of reforming the Constitution. But we're running out of time, so finally I have this question for you. I mean, given the legal challenges that this whole Emirate change and changes has plagued the state as well, with this new restructure, do you foresee any potential legal or social obstacles implementing this new Emirate structure in the future? And if not, how best do you think it can be implemented and addressed to make it as smooth as possible, the entire transition process?
Well, let me start with the implementation. One of the Emirates, I don't know which one now, whether Rano or what have you, is the same person that was removed a few months back by the governor that has returned. You know that there were 5 and they were all removed. 4 have gone peacefully, and one, he had gone. He allowed himself to be brought back and used by the opposition in Kano. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I think that it is in Kano at the moment, because, yes, I'll even go further to say in Kano and Rivers at the moment, you cannot say anything is straightforward, because it seems there's some people there who just want to make governance difficult. Ordinarily, there should be, you saw, I mean, well, you might not have seen, they welcomed them and what have you in their various areas. So it's peaceful, but one can never tell if there'll be some instigator or some form of instigating people to rise up against it. So I wouldn't be so bold as to say, no, it's
They
going to
won't
go
get
peacefully.
So you foresee a legal thing going on or
Well,
some obstacle?
I hope not. I don't foresee it, but it is a possibility given what we have. I actually said to someone asked me that, okay, if this is resolved, what do you think will happen? I said there will be another crisis. Up until 2027, there will be crisis all the time because it's no longer what is happening there. It is the fact that Rivers and Kano, Lagos, but Rivers and Kano bring in the highest votes for the presidential election. And so some people have decided that there should
Who are
be
the some people?
There should be no peace.
Who are the some people?
Those who would benefit from it. There should be no peace unless we are in control.
Who are those who are going to be benefiting?
The APC. Thank you.
Thank you.